Hey everyone, I just want to encourage you before this video starts to stay to the very end because I always have tips and tricks and things, mistakes I've made and ways to correct them at the very end of my video when I come on and talk with the final project. So anyway, enjoy the video. So for this project, I started with Let's Resin Fast Cure Resin. It's a 4-hour demold, 8 to 10 hour cure time. I also used Let's Resin mica powder. It's a pink gold color change mica powder that came in a box of about 6. This resin is a 1-to-1 ratio resin that you mix slowly in a cup for about 3 minutes, scraping the sides, scraping the bottom to ensure thorough mixing. The slower you mix it, the less bubbles you'll get. I did mix the mica powder in along with some very chunky glitter and poured it into this 9-inch mold. And I'll talk more about the mold later, but it's called a 9-inch diameter, but it's really 8. And I wasn't happy with how translucent it was, so I did end up mixing up some more resin with some more of the mica powder, this time making it opaque, and putting some more chunky glitter in. Just so you know, if you make a mistake, you can go ahead and just mix it in, and I just kind of swirled it around right inside of the mold. And then I took some more of the chunky glitter and I sprinkled it all over the top, because sometimes the glitter that's mixed in has a tendency to fall to the bottom. So I just sprinkled it on the top and I was happy with that. And then later on that day, I was actually able to demold this mold. I think I waited about 8 hours. It does say 4 hours, but you're better off if you wait a little bit longer. So here I'm trying to draw a circle on top of the glittery mold, and what I'm using is some carbon paper and a round top from something, placing it down on top of the mold, and then taking a pen and tracing around. And it is a very faint line that it makes, but it did make a nice circle for me, and it was visible when you looked close. Next, I was trying to make some little feet for the bunny rabbit. It's actually supposed to be his little paws under him. And again, I took some carbon paper and something to make a round circle and drew 2 feet on it. Next, I drew a bunny ear, and I am a terrible drawer. I just, I'm not very good at it, but this worked out fine. So I drew 1 ear with 2 pieces of paper. So when I cut it out, I had 2 ears, and I just flipped the other one the other way. Then I took clear Elmer's glue and traced right along that yellow line that I had created. And then I took, I actually took 2 tops, those round circle tops, so that I would avoid putting the rhinestone chain there. And then I took the rhinestone chain and placed it right on top of the round Elmer's glue line that I had created. Clear Elmer's glue. Do not use regular Elmer's glue. You have to use clear. The resin will totally cover it. Next, I made 2 feet where the round circles were. I did the same thing, Elmer's glue circle and the rhinestone chain. Again, for the ears, I just took the clear Elmer's glue, traced around my little paper, and put the rhinestone chain. And this is a 4mm rhinestone chain, by the way, that I picked up on Amazon. It's an iridescent 4mm rhinestone chain, and just formed the 2 little ears. Now for the next part, I took Celestial Glass and Artist Loft iridescent medium and mixed them both in a bowl real well, and then put it down on some non-stick parchment paper. You can use any kind of non-stick paper. Just spread it out as far as you possibly can, because this is kind of like a paint and it will stick together. Then this needs to dry overnight, and then the next morning you just have to kind of crumble it and loosen it from the paper and crumble it in your hands. And it really does turn out so pretty. So the next day, when the rhinestone chain was totally dry, and it's really important that it is totally dry, otherwise you'll have all sorts of problems with it moving when you're laying the glass down. And I put the glass down, flat side down, and just kind of fit it together like puzzle pieces. And it can be a little bit tedious, but it's well worth it once you're done. And then once I was done with the body, I started filling in the ears. And I did put clear Elmer's glue under all of the glass just as an extra precaution. Started making the bunny's face, and I took two little half beads or flat back beads and made the eyes. For the eyebrows and the mouth, I used 2mm black rhinestone chain, and for the nose, I used a 2mm red rhinestone chain and formed it in the shape of a heart. And then I took some Ashland decorative filler and I filled in those little circles for the bunny's feet. And I just don't like the way they look. And I do end up changing it multiple times before I end up finishing this. And now I'm cutting the black 2mm rhinestone chains for the whiskers. And once I have those cut, I kind of move those out of the way. And I start to mix together a concoction of the red mica powder and some varnish, and I mix that together and make some little red cheeks and put a little bit of red in, or pinkish red, in the ears, and I think I actually paint a little bit of it over the nose also. But once that's dry, I go ahead and I take the whiskers and I put those back on. And you can see here that I've also changed the feet again. This time I used rhinestone chain and kind of made flat bottom bunny feet. So here I am getting ready for the resin, and I'm putting it up on 3 or 4 cups. And the resin I'm going to be using is art resin. And art resin is a doming or coating resin. And when you use this, you can actually keep it just on the top. So if you just push it up to the edge, but the trick is it has to be perfectly level. And so I do have it on my Let's Resin leveling table. Art resin is a 1:1 ratio resin that you mix slowly in a cup for 3 minutes, scraping the sides, scraping the bottom to ensure thorough mixing. The slower you mix it, the less bubbles you'll get. I always drizzle it over the glass first and then up and around the edges and into the corners if there are corners. And here you can see I do have this way and fast forward, but I was pushing it just up to the very edge. I do not want it to go and drip over the edge. And you can achieve this, like I said, if you have it on a perfectly level surface. So I always come back every 15 minutes to check my project for glass placement, to retorch for bubbles, to look for sediment, and this particular resin cures best at temperatures between 75 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. It has a 45-minute work time, and you can usually touch it within 12 hours of completing it, but it does take a full 72 hours to cure. Resins are different. You need to read the directions for the resin you are using. Hey everyone, my little bunny's done. Turned out super cute, not exactly how I expected. I was trying to make this the body with his little face up at the top and the 2 feet at the bottom, like his little paws under him. And my daughter was here from Georgia this weekend, and all I had was the 2 on each side. And she says, "Oh, that's cute. She's got a necklace on." And I said, "Oh." Well, I said, those are supposed to be his feet. So I thought, well, I guess it does look like a big head instead of a body. So I went ahead and I just put that in the middle so that it looked more like a necklace. It was complete. So anyway, it turned out cute. And so I just wanted to tell you a little bit why I use 2 different resins. So the resin on the bottom is the Let's Resin resin, which is really more for molds. I do use it on glass, but if you're putting it on, if you don't have a reservoir to hold it in, like a frame around glass, and it can run off, it will cause fish eyes. But because it's in a mold, it works great. So that's why I used it for the bottom. The second reason is because the doming or coating resins, you can only put 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch thick. And this I needed to be about 1/4 inch. So the Let's Resin and like the DICTION resin, you can make them thicker. And then for the top, I wanted a doming or coating resin so that it would not leave fish eyes. And I just did another project and I messed up by not doing it that way. But anyway, that way it doesn't leave fish eyes. I just wanted it to go to the edges. If your table is perfectly level, you can achieve that. You can keep it from going over the edges with the doming or coating resin. So that would be like art resin and KS resin. And I know there's other doming and coating resins, but you have to really make sure that's what they're for. If I was to put the DICTION on this, it would cause fish eyes, and it just wouldn't work the same way. So that's why I use two different resins, if you're wondering. So the other thing is, so this mold here, I have made so many different things with it, at least a dozen or more projects. And I'm gonna show you the different projects I made. I'll scroll through it while I'm talking. And all of them I do have videos on my YouTube channel. So this is the mold. It's called a 9-inch mold. And the reason it's called that is because from this side to this side, it's 9 inches. But the interior diameter is actually 8 inches. So don't get it confused. On Amazon, it's advertised as a 9-inch mold. So this holder that it's in is an 8-inch holder. So I didn't want you to think, oh, well, why would I get a 9-inch mold for an 8-inch holder? It's really an 8-inch mold. So, and I just really like this this holder. Now you can take this and you can put this in like a little Dollar Tree holder or anything you want. I just happen to like this. I change out my projects every once in a while, you know, for the different seasons. And this is cool because if your project is a little thicker, you can pull them out or you can push the prongs in to make it smaller, just depending on how wide your project is. So anyway, that's why I like that. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the project. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps the channel. If you enjoyed the channel, go ahead and subscribe. We have the Facebook page going, a lot of great glass artists displaying their art, beginners, people who've done different types of glass art like stained glass, and they can give us all different types of tips. One lady does a lot of molds and puts it on glass. So just all different art being displayed, a lot of knowledge there. And if you have questions, everybody tries to help. You might get like 8 different answers, but you know, everybody's just so helpful there. So come join us there. And I hope you guys all have a great day. Thanks for watching.